Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on Arrow Season 6, and this is going to be my review for episode 19 of this season, otherwise entitled The Dragon. But of course, before we continue on with the rest of the video, if you've not watched the episode, go watch it, then come back to this video later on, because some pretty epic stuff happened in this episode, a lot of character progression for our main villain of the season, so yeah, go do that. But if you are continuing on, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below your various thoughts on this episode. What was your favourite moment? What moment didn't you like too much? I'm guessing I know what most people will write in the comment section in regards to that. But yeah, just leave all of your opinions in the comment section down below. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. So the episode actually starts off with, is this our first flashback of the year? Is this our first flashback of this season? I'm not too sure if it is. Let me know if it is in the comment section down below. But we go to 32 years in the past to a Starling City orphanage where we see a young Ricardo Diaz. And essentially, you know, obviously he's an orphan. His father's gone. And I'm guessing his mother's gone as well. You would think so. But his father most likely was the last one that was with him. Most likely just like in the comics. And in the comics it's a bit different. Like Ricardo Diaz is a bit older when his father is taken. And that's what spurs him on, like, from that moment onwards. But this is more of a, you know, stuff that happened with his father in the past, and just him not being there when he was a child led to things in the present day where he had to fight for everything rather than having a parent there to support him. But anyway, Diaz is basically the opposite of what we see in present day, where he's basically ruling everything. In the orphanage, he's like the weakest link. He's just getting bullied, especially by this older kid called Jesse. Burns a picture of his father. It's really heavy, had to feel for the kid. And, yeah, just heavy. But basically, most of this episode, if not like 95% of it, takes place in Bloodhaven. Yes, Bloodhaven, the old home site, if you want to call it, of our good old friend Nightwing. But yeah, it's pretty cool that we're in a different city for this episode, but Diaz and Black Siren are there to sort of negotiate something that Diaz sort of wants to do to push his reign on what he's doing this season. One of the other sub-stories in this episode, and like it is a sub-story because it's like 5%, if 10% if it's lucky of the actual episode, is Curtis and Felicity, you know, dealing with like the team issues that they're having, but also to build on the Helix business. Now, I'll get to that at the end of the episode because I have some thoughts on that. But yeah, that's something else that we expected this episode, but nothing really much to talk about that. So let's just move on to the cool stuff. But essentially, they're here because Diaz wants a seat at this thing called the Quadrant, which essentially is, what you imagine, it's for like mafia families. That's probably the best way to put it. And Diaz wants, you know, a table at a seat at the Quadrant. But, you know, there's 4 already there. You can't really have a 5th in a Quadrant, can you? So someone's going to have to go. And I think that was a part of Diaz's plan the whole time. Now, as we've known this season, we've had like the new intro where it's got like the Wild Dog, the Canary, Diggle, and all of that, Mr. Terrific, and even Overwatch in like the new Arrow logo. Well, this episode, because it was basically all Ricardo Diaz, we had the dragon come up, which I thought was awesome. That's probably my favourite custom logo we've seen on the show. Now, we did have a couple of cool fight scenes in this episode, but the best one, because I didn't cut away from anything, was definitely the house break-in scene when they went to get, I think his name was Richard Baylor. I'm just going to call him Mr. Baylor, because that's, I think, what they refer to him as the most in this episode. But they went to get Mr. Baylor for Eric Cartier, who was a part of the Quadrant, or a family member of the Quadrant. And yeah, that house break-in scene was really cool. Richard Dragon, or Ricardo Diaz, whatever you want to call him, was just tearing people up. Black Siren was there, but Black Siren was like holding back a bit because I don't think she wanted to do too much damage. I think she was just standing back and letting Ricardo do most of the work. But, well, the Quadrant, or at least Eric Cartier and the Cartiers in general, sort of backstabbed Diaz. And they killed Baylor and attempt to kill good old Diaz, but luckily he's wearing a bulletproof vest. Might I say, because he's thinking ahead like all good Arrow villains do. And yeah, you don't want to piss off the dragon because it could come back and, well, breathe fire right up your ass. Cutting away from the cool Diaz stuff, we went to something that I didn't really care about, and that's when we see like a news report of Oliver in the Glaze followed by an explosion, and we're led to believe that he possibly died, which we knew he didn't, but Felicity sort of freaks out going, oh my god, he's dead. Which we knew it wasn't the case. Once again, I'll get to the sub-story for this episode towards the end, but that was a thing. It was really cool how Black Siren compared Diaz to Zoom or Hunter Zolomon, about like all the darkness and the evil inside and taking control. But Diaz is like he has control of the dragon, and they're two separate entities. So I was wondering if she was ever going to bring him back up at some stage, especially with Dragon and how he's going about things. But yeah, that was a really cool moment. But essentially we go and crash the quadrant meeting, and what better way to make an entrance than with using one of the quadrant, heirs, if you want to call it, because the son of one of the quadrant leaders, and strapping a bomb to him and making him run straight into where they're having the meeting and just, blowing up. Thought that was a good way to make an entrance. And really that Eric Cartier, who was the son, definitely deserved it, so I thought he got his just desserts. But it was really that quadrant scene where I think most people, if you had doubts about Diaz and like his presence and stuff, I think that scene in the quadrant was enough to sort of get you on board with the idea of him being a villain. I really like him so far. There was a reason that they've delayed him so much, and this episode was really important in regards to pushing his story. Even though they could have maybe spent like half an episode doing it, I was really happy that they spent basically 90% of the episode doing it. But that scene in general with the quadrant and stuff was enough to make it go, okay, this guy's he's got some balls on him, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all wraps up going into the last handful of episodes this season. And obviously this involves him killing Daddy Cartier, if we're going to call him that. I can't remember what his first name was, but he kills Daddy Cartier. And there's an empty seat, so he took it. So as I said, there can't be 5 in a quadrant, so one's got to go, and Diaz made sure of that. But this is where I really want to talk about essentially the most, I don't know why it was in the episode. I think they just did it so if you don't like Diaz, you didn't think this was a terrible episode, but you had the Felicity and Curtis side story with the Helix stuff and them going on about the team, which was really boring. I don't think you could think of anything more boring to put in the show in this episode, might I say. Maybe like Renee just talking crap would have been really boring. That was really boring. And then they really just forced like a dramatic Oliver scene, like, oh, Oliver's dead, and the whole thing about the drama about him being solo and the danger of that, really forced. Like, I would have preferred it. This episode's called The Dragon. I think it would have been, I know it was only a bit of the episode, but trust, everyone watching, I'm sure you agree with me, pointless having that stuff in the episode. It was really just if you don't like Diaz, and I guess the Black Siren either. They put that in there so there's like, 5 to 6 minutes of content for those fans who would want that, but it was not good. Like, it was really boring. Like, I knew going into this episode that there was not going to be much because I knew that I think Diaz and all that, Kirk Acevedo and Katie Cassidy filmed like, I think if there was like a 7 or 8 day shoot, they filmed like 6 out of the 8 days, the majority of it, and no one else had filmed. So all of those scenes with like Felicity, Curtis and Oliver were filmed right at the end. And you could tell because they were pretty lazy scenes and just not much to them. I think we already know about the Emily Ricard's issue with the dramatic acting. Once again, it's not a stab at her, it's just not her strong suit. And once again, they gave her a scene which didn't suit her acting and just made the scene crap. Like, let's just be honest. I would have preferred if that stuff was put into next week's episode. And I think it should have been, to be completely honest. It just made this a Dragon or Diaz and Siren specific episode, and that's it. I think that would have been really cool. But we get one of the most intense scenes that I can remember in a while in regards to Arrow. Like, you're just guessing, like, is this really going to happen? And you're wondering how he was going to die in this scene, or the person that dies. Because I thought, okay, Laurel's there, or Black Siren's there. Is he going to like scream to death like Vigilante did? So anyway, we have that kid I was talking about from earlier at the orphanage, the older kid, Jesse. Obviously an adult version now with kids. He's got a family. And we have Diaz going and getting him, bringing him to a rooftop, just going over and making him slowly realise who he was, and just Jesse, like, basically having traumatic flashbacks, I guess, at that point. And then he proceeds to burn him alive. Like, that was pretty rough and pretty just intense. Like, I really am enjoying Kirk Acevedo in the role of Ricardo Diaz this season. That, along with the quadrant scene, are two of my favourite scenes in this this season. I think definitely him killing Caden James is really cool as well. But this was a great episode in regards to him and just laying everything out there. And basically, if you think about the previous seasons, he probably got more screen time in this episode than what a lot of the villains in the past would get over maybe like 6 or 7 episodes. He got heaps of screen time, and I think it was needed just because he didn't really come out and say, hey, I'm here, until like episode was it 13, I think, of this season, or 12, when Caden James died. So I really enjoyed this episode in regards to him, and I think if anyone's denying him as a villain, saying he's bad, well, I guess that's your opinion, but I highly disagree with you. But essentially throughout the back half of the episode, I guess is the best way to describe it, you see Siren just doubting the position she's in and doubting Diaz's, what he's doing and his motives and stuff like that, and how he's going about it at least. So next episode, am I the only one that's thinking that Black Siren's going to step back a bit and possibly swap sides? I know next episode, I think his next episode is called Shifting Allegiances, and it would not surprise me at all if that has to do with Black Siren and her, maybe not completely going to Team Arrow and saying, look, I'm back, but, you know, maybe giving information or at least just stepping back from Diaz for a bit and maybe not wanting to be as involved as she previously was. So you could tell that in the back half in regards to like the fight scenes, especially in the quadrant and stuff like that. But mainly that rooftop scene right at the end where he kills Jesse. Because Black Siren isn't completely evil. She's just, I think, misunderstood and a bit confused as to what she wants to do. And I think that's one of the storylines for her season, is just teetering and tottering and figuring out what she wants to do. But that was a massive scene in regards to, I think, pushing her to actually being on the good side, or at least not on the evil side with Diaz. So I'm really interested to see where that goes in future episodes. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. As I said, the major disappointment, and just the bit I was like, why is this even in the episode, was the sub-story with Oliver and, not Oliver and Felicity, Curtis and Felicity, and then that little one scene with Oliver. It should have been next episode. Didn't need to be in this episode. This should have just been Diaz and Siren. It's their episode. It should have been that. This should have been, those couple scenes could have been chucked in next week, and it probably wouldn't have fit. It would have fit, better in that one than it would have this one. But apart from that, really enjoyed the episode. Just love how it fleshed out Diaz more, gave everyone a better understanding of his character, and also pushed his story forward for this season, as well as some flashbacks to set everything up. Hopefully in the next couple of episodes they really go over his prison sentence, because that's one thing I'm sort of annoyed they haven't gone over with him this season. Will we get it? Maybe. We can hope for it, but I don't know, we might get it. There's still 4 episodes left of this season after this one, so we could get it. We'll have to wait and see. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on the video to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below what was your favourite part of the episode, what was your favourite scene, and I guess what disappointed you. I'm guessing it's going to be the Oliver, Curtis and Felicity stuff like I did. But yeah, just let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.